Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and we are back on Nessus today for a quick Xur video. As you can tell, everybody seems to have gotten the memo at the same time, which is funny. So, go ahead and get up here, run up in the tree, and we will see what he's got for sale. Quick news about the podcast after.
Perhaps this is why the night.
So the exotic engram, of course, as you work on completing your collections. If you're newer players, if you're an older player, this is mostly your way just to get a random stat roll on something that you probably already got. Now let's see what he's got for sale. Weapon this week is the good old Graviton Lance. Pulse rifles and having very high stability may be a thing that matters a bit more with the sandbox changes coming up next season. So this could be a fun gun to use next season, especially in PvP. We'll have to see, but maxed out stability is going to matter more on, especially mouse and keyboard. Controllers not seeing too much change, but mouse and keyboard players, I don't know, maybe this one might be good. We'll see. It's still a pretty cool weapon, though, either way. Black hole, second shot of a burst rips a hole through spacetime, doing high damage and recoil with no fall off. So, especially with really solid stability, and then on top of, no fall off on that second shot, definitely something you could viably use from pretty far away. The fun perk, though, is Cosmology. Kills with this weapon cause enemy targets to detonate and spawn void projectiles that track the targets. And as those Cosmology little void projectiles explode others, they can explode others. It can be a really cool chain reaction to see happen. So it's definitely a fun weapon to use. It's got a cool catalyst. It's probably one that I even need to finish the catalyst because it's been in the game forever. But it's a fun weapon to use. Maybe it'll actually feel pretty good with its maxed out stability for mouse and keyboard players. We'll have to see how that looks, but something to consider coming next season in 13. For the hunters, we've got Shinobu's Vow. Pretty straightforward. Improve skip grenades. You gain an additional skip grenade, so you have two. And then skip grenade returns energy when it damages enemies. So you get some of your grenade energy back when you actually strike an enemy. Stats, we're looking at 62. Mobility, very low for a hunter. Kind of sad to see that one. And also discipline, not even 10. Those are the two main stats I'd probably be looking for this piece of gear and also for this class. Recovery at 18, intellect at 14. Those are actually good, though, which is kind of the trade-off. So your mobility and your discipline, which, mobility is a hunter stat, discipline is what this is based around. Those, unfortunately, aren't that high, but recovery and intellect being up there, resilience being a little, this is not a horrible stat roll. It's not perfect for a hunter, but the recovery and intellect alone are something you probably want to glance at and see if your Shinobu's Vow is as good as this, especially for PvP, which is likely what I'd see this being more useful for. This is not as much a PvE exotic for sure, so check your stats, might be worth picking this one up. Fairly straightforward here for the Titans, the Armamentarium. You get an additional grenade for any subclass. You do have a 66 total stat, so that alone is solid, and you're looking at intellect of 19. Off to a pretty good start. Now, it is grenade based. I wish the discipline was higher. Can't win them all. Mobility of 15, that's about the only thing I don't usually use as much as a Titan, but maybe. Honestly, for Armamentarium, I'd probably see this more in a PvE situation, maybe PvP too. Recovery of 11, resilience of 8, discipline of 6. Just if that mobility was a little lower and anything else was probably higher, I'd be happier. But intellect at 19, pretty solid in itself, so it's fairly straightforward. And it's just a generally high total. If you have good stats other places, not bad. So overall, if you like your grenades, if you're new to the game and don't have this one, you are going to want to add this to your collection for sure. It's an old D1, just keeps hanging around, so you may as well have it. For the Warlocks, this is going to be a fun stat distribution to talk about. I can see it over there. But the perk is Dynamic Duo for Getaway Artist. Convert your Arc Grenade into a supercharged Arc Soul. The Arc Soul function as an autonomous turret. So your little Arc Buddy, which I've heard it so eloquently called, turns into much more powerful turret. And then if you have no time to explain and you're running this subclass as well, you can have two turrets and you are just kicking some butt. So overall, fairly cool exotic in the first place. Now the stats on this one, if Xur is truly randomly generated and they don't curate this stuff, this is a funny looking stat roll. 2 mobility, 27 resilience, which is really high for a Warlock. You'd like to see that more on a Titan. 3 recovery, really low, sadly, also for a Warlock. 10, 10, and 10. 10 discipline, 10 intellect, 10 strength. That has got to be the most bizarre stat roll I've probably seen from Xur in a long, long time. Unless it was 2, 2, 28, 10, 10, 10, then, that's about as crazy as I could get. But either way, I mean, you do need some resilience, so you're not going to get like too tapped by hand cannons in PvP. The 10 on each category for discipline, intellect, and strength is at least, you know, a little bit one tier on your cooldown, so that's not horrible. But recovery being very low and that being a very warlock focused stat, wish that was like, if this was traded with like resilience was in, that stat was in recovery, man, then you'd be talking. But overall, Arc Buddy's cool. If you don't have this one, you got to buy it at least, if nothing else, to toy around with the Arc Buddy. Then you've got the supercharged one, and then if you compare it with No Time to Explain, if you've got that, fun can definitely ensue. So check that out as well. Overall, that's it for Xur this week. Also, for FYI for you guys, if you are watching this, tune in on twitch.tv/Ebontis tonight, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to do episode of the Last Word podcast, number 134. We've got CB Gray, awesome content creator. He's on YouTube and Twitch. You guys probably know him anyway. Should be a fun chat. Twab was spicy, so should be a juicy discussion. Also, if you guys are new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, drop a like below, leave a comment. You guys know to subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And you can find me on Twitter as well to see stream schedule, videos I get posted, where I'm going to be streaming, and all of that. So thank you all for the support. I will see you in the next one, and have a good weekend.